Hello, welcome back. Thank you, as always, for joining me here. It's very important that you're taking your time out of your busy day, your busy evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this. It really is. It matters because we all get so carried away in life that we can often forget about our spirituality, even if ostensibly it occupies a front and center kind of place in our lives. We all get carried away and distracted, and we all find ourselves back where we've always been, judging and not feeling very good about it. We're conditioned, of course, to think we're individuals, and acting accordingly, we experience the same thing over and over again in a different guise, in a different form. And what we're going to do today is to take a look at how uncompromising salvation really is, and how uncompromising A Course in Miracles really is. And the invitation goes out to you to pay attention to the message of our inner teacher here. And that is true of every single video. It's true of every single reading, every single prayer, every single act of forgiveness, everything that you do. We're invited to pay attention to the message of our inner teacher because his call is constant. Are we listening? That's the question. So, in the text here, we're now on chapter 23, section 3, which is appropriately titled Salvation Without Compromise. So, as I often say, and you are free to run far, far away if that's what you choose to do. It's totally up to you. Pixelated image isn't going to stop you, and no one else is either. This is an adult endeavor. Spirituality is what I'm talking about. It's for grown-ups, and we all know this. Doesn't mean that you have to continue to hear this message, which again is your choice. But when you think about it, it's so true. It's about taking responsibility, adult, grown-up responsibility for our experience, for our thoughts, for our choices in life, for all of that. And when we're talking about spirituality and awakening, it's about having a deep honesty with ourselves to forgive completely, 100% totally, to look at all of our stuff. Just look at it. Be willing to look at it rather than to continue to keep it hidden away. Because what we've all discovered, like it or not, is that we can't love sometimes, hate other times, go back to loving sometimes, deep hatred the next moment, and expect to awaken. In other words, we can't love on 99.9% of the living things that appear to occupy this wobbling, spinning ball of rock and expect to awaken. 99.9 is not enough. Our forgiveness is either total or it's not at all. This means that we can't expect to awaken. We can't expect to experience truth beyond maybe an occasional glimpse, which is always possible, for sure. But we have to go all in. Our forgiveness is either total or it's not at all. We can't reserve our own little judgment for a certain person or a certain political party or our boss or our ex or a group of people. or something that we don't like, and we want to hang on to our hatred of that thing or that person. We can't do that and expect awakening. This course is very clear about that, and it makes sense. I mean, it does it not? It really makes sense. So, to the extent that you want to keep your secret hatreds and disdain and judge on certain groups of people because you don't feel that you're ready to incorporate them into your true forgiveness, so be it. Don't expect awakening as a result. This course is uncompromising. We're invited to be just as uncompromising. It's an invitation you could choose to accept or not as you see fit. Again, it's an adult endeavor. Now, you may find yourself thinking, I have no choice in this matter. Yes, you do. Of course, we all do. Choosing not to choose is choosing. We're fond of believing, and we would like sometimes very much, very much to believe that the world's coming at us and we're an unwitting victim. We want to be sometimes a victim of this cruel, tyrannical, murderous world. Yet we're not a victim of this world. And you have all the power you need right now in the present moment to choose to follow the guidance of the Holy Spirit, our inner teacher, instead of the guidance of the ego, which is not guidance at all. It is a hamster wheel where we circulate and circulate our unconscious guilt, different forms at different moments. We're angry at a different person today. Maybe we're upset about something else, apparently, the following day. And we just keep going on and on and on, exchanging outward forms, exchanging one modality in spirituality for the next. Yeah, exchanging one relationship for the next, one job for the next, thinking and hoping and believing that that's going to bring us the peace of God. And when it does not, we become very despondent, disappointed, and, well, really frustrated. We keep spinning around and not getting anywhere. Now, welcome to A Course in Miracles, which shows you how you set all of this aside, but you have got to choose to. And you do most definitely, certainly have that choice. We all do. As it turns out, that's actually all of the power of decision and choice that we need because, well, we may not be able to stop something from happening in the world. We can most certainly change our mind about how we see it. That we can do, and that's big. You want to talk about a game changer? That's a game changer. And you can rest assured that the Holy Spirit responds to your slightest invitation. If all you feel like you have to give is a fraction of a second to let our inner teacher do his thing, then do that. That's more than enough. The Holy Spirit always responds totally because the Holy Spirit itself is whole and total. And only a fraction of a second, if that's all you have, that's enough. Give him that right now. And then, of course, having done that once, you know how this plays out. You're invited to do it again. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. When you string these moments together, you experience things very differently. That's as close as we can actually put that in words. It must be experienced. And many of you have had these experiences more than once. A lot of you. So you know what I'm talking about. We simply can't withhold forgiveness. When we do, Jesus analogizes it to a very handy visual of giving someone a box full of nothing, as if we're offering somebody a present. It may be very beautifully wrapped and look really expensive and lucrative and shiny and really cool, but there's nothing inside. You're offering your brother nothing when you withhold forgiveness, and you are receiving as you have given nothing. We always receive as we give. Giving and receiving are exactly the same. To give and to receive are one in truth. That's a famous line from A Course in Miracles. This explains that when you give a whole lot of nothing, you receive a whole lot of nothing. Why? You're giving it to yourself. There is no separation of any kind. So what looks to be a separate human being is not that at all. And we all deep down know this. I mean, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, well, that makes a certain amount of sense, yeah, it does. Remember, this course is uncompromising. There is no separation. So, as you give to your brother, you give to yourself. There is no difference between the two of you. So, we're invited not to give a shiny, perfectly wrapped, beautiful box full of nothing. Let's extend love instead. Let's extend true forgiveness instead. An invitation that you could choose to accept. Paragraph 4. Jesus tells us this course is easy. Maybe you don't feel that way. Common enough. Yeah. It is quite common for people to embark on the study and the practice of this course and find it impossibly hard, really difficult over our heads. Maybe you've told yourself that. I don't get it. What is he actually saying here? Well, there is no world. He's saying that you're perfectly at home in God where you've always been, which I know that you know. We all do deep down. Doesn't mean we have to actively acknowledge that. And you could choose to deny every single thing this course says. Again, your choice. See how powerful this choice is? Right now, in the present moment. This course is quite simple. There is no separation of any kind. This supposed separation from God never took place. It is impossible. Simple enough, right? We introduce all of the complications ourselves, so we find it hard. And you may have found yourself thinking, man, it can't be that simple. Uh-uh. I mean, I know this course says it over and over and over again, but no, can't possibly be. It's got to be more complicated than that. Let me go forth and make it more complicated. Well, you don't have to. Again, a choice that you have and that we all have in the present moment to listen to and follow the guidance of the Holy Spirit instead of the mad ravings of the ego that doesn't know what it's doing anyway. This course is easy. It's simple. There's no compromise. Our forgiveness is either total or it's not at all. A simple enough idea. So we find it complicated in our daily lives because we still believe compromise is possible. We want to have awakening. We want the peace of God, but we still want to hate on that tiny little fraction of a percentage of people. We want to love sometimes, hate other times, and we're expecting a different result. We're expecting awakening, but we're not doing the work. We're not meeting the prerequisite for awakening, which is completely clarified perception, seeing things 100% as they are, not 99.9%. So naturally, we can't expect awakening with only an incomplete body of work. Because if you harbor hatred for a certain person or a certain group of people, that's not love. It's not total. You're still seeing them as separate from yourself and worthy of condemnation, punishment, and blame. Whatever you're heaping on them, understand you're heaping it on yourself. Why? There is no separation of any kind. As you give to your brother, you give to yourself. Again, a simple idea that we're very prone to overlook. And it's our experience plays this out in the world, doesn't it? It's these simple ideas that we're most prone to overlook because there appears at times to be a giant loud voice screaming in our ear saying, no, it's more complicated than that. That is, of course, the voice of the ego saying, no, go back to the way things were. You can switch modalities. You can switch relationships or homes or a job, and that will bring you the salvation you seek. Trust me. And that's what the ego says. And unwittingly, we've done that. This conversation would not appear to be taking place had we not done that a lot and conditioned ourselves to follow this mad raving voice that doesn't know what it's doing. It's like we're following it off a cliff, and as we tumble onto the jagged rocks below and harm ourselves, we think, oh, I should jump off a different cliff next time. That shinier cliff over here. Yeah, that looks better. And we manage to allow ourselves to be convinced by absolutely nothing that we should go jump off that next cliff. And when we harm ourselves on the jagged rocks below, we have the same conversation with ourselves. Tired yet? And that's a question only you can answer. Because this power of decision is available to each and every one of us right now. If you wish to awaken, compromise is not possible. It is uncompromising. This course is uncompromising. The meaning of it is not compromising at all, completely uncompromising. Therefore, this video series is completely uncompromising. It's about A Course in Miracles, after all. So, I mean, it's grown-up stuff here. And we each have to ask ourselves, are we willing to do this? And I know that you've answered that in the affirmative at least once, possibly thousands and thousands of times, because you're here paying attention to this right now, amidst all of the other things that we could be doing in life. Not to mention all of the other channels available on this one giant platform, YouTube alone. There's a lot of content out there and multiple other sites on the internet. And here you are, which should tell you everything that you need to know. Compromise is not possible if you wish to awaken. It's total or it's not at all. So, to the extent that that resonates with you, fantastic. And if it doesn't, not a problem. Again, we all have this power of choice and decision. And we appear to be here because we have listened to the voice of separation, the ego, thinking we're an individual and judging accordingly, believing everyone's out to get our stuff, our money, our, well, our professional reputation, our social status, all kinds of intangible things. They're ideas that we made up. We can set all of this aside, and you have the opportunity to do just that. And you also have, on an ongoing basis, the invitation to do just that. So, to the extent that you have questions about this, that is completely 100% understandable. After all, this course is designed to turn our perception, our thinking, our way of seeing everything right side up. It is very upside down. This is a 180. So, questions are bound to arise. If you have them, please feel welcome to leave them here. I do check the comment thread here on YouTube with frequency, so I will see them. Please ask questions if you've got them. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do that as well. I'd love to have you join us. That's the prompt in the corner of your screen. Click that icon, and it will say subscribe. And to do that, several videos appear here every week. There's always something to talk about because we all, as adult learners, need these reminders on a consistent basis. Remember, this course is simple. It's very simple. And it is the simple things in life that we're most prone to overlook. So when you remember to set your judgment aside and forgive, do just that. Do just that. And I will see you again next time.